This is Mark Gun Media.
Hit it!
Back with the program.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Community Connections. To get in on the conversation, call in now. 502-776-1350. That's 502-776-1350.
Welcome to Community Connections. I'm your co-host, Amira Palacios, and I'm joined by
Mark Gunn.
Bruce Ray.
Now, as you can notice, we are not James Linton. James is in Lexington right now.
Oh, is he?
Yes, because it's time to move Imani back to college. Tis the season to be not jolly. A lot of parents are not jolly.
But
right
an empty nesters.
Yeah.
So let me see here. So James has been at home recovering.
Like what, 2 months?
2 months.
Hold on. This is good.
And
He's on his couch.
and so he on his couch eating
ice cream.
bonbons, ice cream and bonbons. And now he's in
Don't
Lexington.
forget the cookies
Oh, and the cookies.
and
He's
the
living
cookies.
his best life.
He is living his best life. I mean, I understand getting baby girl back into college because, you know, when we got our daughter off, it was a party 2 minutes later. But I ain't heard from this brother all week. So he goes from being on his sick bed to moving his daughter back to Lexington.
Recovery's tough.
Recovery must be tough.
Recovery's tough.
Hey,
Man.
but whatever it takes to get him off his feet. Because he's been laid down for 2 months.
All right.
At least that's what he's been saying.
That's what he's been saying.
You know, to survive major surgery, it's
Yes,
such a blessing.
it is.
So
It is.
So we thank God for James.
Amen. Amen. And we expect to see James back here next week.
Big bruh.
I mean, one would think, right? I mean, soon. This is his show with his name on it.
This is his show.
Oh, God.
And when you know, he asked a brother to come and sit in for him.
I was thinking like 1 or 2 shows.
You know, yeah. Can you sit in a couple of weeks? Okay, it's
This is turning into like a part-time job.
right. I hadn't signed a W-2.
That's right.
Hadn't seen the first
We're doing this out
paycheck.
of the goodness of our hearts.
I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart, man. Come on, James.
You ain't seen a 1099?
I ain't seen a 1099 as an independent contractor, nothing.
Big
Love to
bruh.
be independent contractor.
We need you back in the studio.
No, but in all seriousness, it's good that James is up and around, and we gonna have to have a talk.
Expeditiously. Isn't that what you have?
Yes, expeditiously. So
To endure major surgery in the
Yes.
middle of a pandemic. I
Yes.
mean, that's
no, that's huge. That is
I know
major.
we're tearing them up right now.
Right. Yeah, if he can survive surgery, he can definitely survive this. So
Yeah.
There you go.
you know, it's all love.
All joking aside, man. Get well, man. Come back.
Right.
Back soon. Expeditiously.
Well, see, he did mention him at the beginning of the show, so
He didn't say how. There wasn't any
he did not
context,
say how.
so
You
mission
know,
accomplished.
right there you go. So
It's
James-
because we love you, brother.
yeah, exactly. You know, if we didn't love you, we wouldn't get on you. So we would not ride you. We would ride you like we do.
That was more good.
Speaking of riding, folks, the week first of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
And
Birthday girl.
Did you enjoy your birthday week?
It was wonderful. I went to Cincinnati
Uh-huh.
for 4 days.
Oh, okay.
And it was really interesting that you go to downtown Cincinnati and nothing's boarded up.
Nope.
But one thing I did find on every block, they had Breonna Taylor's name. Everywhere.
Oh, good.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Murals,
Uh-huh.
signs.
Mm-hmm.
There was one window that was just a repeat of her name over and over and over again. Just filled it right up.
Wow.
Wow,
So
that's good.
it's been
That's
amazing to
good.
see this global movement
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
honor Breonna.
Mm-hmm.
And, recently, Oprah Magazine.
Yeah.
The cover
Put
of
on
Oprah
Oprah.
Magazine
For the very first time.
Yeah.
20 years.
20 years. Oprah will not be on the cover of O.
That's amazing.
Huge. That is
Yeah.
huge.
That's amazing.
I mean, I don't read the magazine, but
She said,
that's still huge.
She said, I cry out your name. I cry out your name
Nice.
for justice. That's what
Wow.
Oprah
Nice.
said on her page.
Wow.
But yeah,
All right,
Cincinnati they're open.
Mhm.
They're handling the virus
Mhm.
like really well. In fact, the governor of Ohio just opened up daycares to be at their maximum capacity. So they're not even,
Really?
they're handling
Wow.
so well. Like childcare is back to normal. It just seems like it's like I crossed the bridge and it's
It's
like
like,
a whole other world.
oh!
It's a whole nother world.
What's wrong with us?
Well,
Where are we falling off?
today in Kentucky, we had 572
New
new
cases.
cases of COVID-19
Wow.
and 5 deaths. So we're still kind of in this doubling,
Yeah.
nearly tripling
Yeah.
our numbers. I've seen the numbers go up to 800 at one point in time
Uh-huh.
Yep, over 8.
in one day. So
And it's
Poor
still,
Andy.
and you're right, and it's still kind of hard to figure out if the numbers that we're seeing are a result of more testing or actual more cases. So either way, no matter how it shakes out, it's still not a good look. Still not a good look.
So
And-
was they wearing masks in Cincinnati?
yeah, everywhere. When I went to restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
it was just me and my husband. Like they staggered it so that you're nearly in there by yourself. I mean,
Nice.
everyone gets it. They're wearing their masks. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Like there's social distancing. People know to not, encroach upon your personal space. So you don't see this where I'm not going to wear my mask because my freedom. You don't see any of that. You don't see. There's no talk of that.
Big ups to the city of Cincinnati, and for everybody else that's doing it the right way. At some point, we'll get it. I mean, I do see a lot of people that are actually, trying to social distance and they're adhering to business rules and everything. But still, the knuckleheads are out there. Oh, my.
Is it worth losing your job or literally being canceled on the internet?
For your stupidity.
I don't know if it's worth it.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, you got too many Kyles and Karens that are acting up and just being stupid for no reason. Other than, if they're not saying my freedom, my rights, it's they took our guns or they took our jobs. So it's, I don't get it. Speaking of stuff that I don't get,
Let's speak
The list
about
is
it,
long.
Mark.
The list is
the
long.
list is long.
It's so long.
Speak on it, Mark.
I don't get where it's August 1st, 2020, that protests around the country and the world have been going on for more than 2 months, and we still don't have an arrest in the murder of Breonna Taylor. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get where city council is asking for phone calls or phone logs when I think that stuff's supposed to go to the AG, I thought, since he was supposed to be handling the investigation.
I thought the
Well,
judge ruled that the press can get a hold of it now.
That's what I thought I
I think
did, too.
this happened Wednesday.
Yeah.
Just this past
it feels
Wednesday.
like local media, they're just fighting for, like, they're just scraping, like, for scraps. It's like, give us something, anything, where we can piece this together ourselves based on the facts. And they're being denied at every side. They're being told no. There are delays, and it just seems like, what country are we in?
Here's what I fear. All this is a distraction. I'm going to say that point blank. It's the shiny object, and media has no choice but to chase it. But all of this reminds me of Los Angeles, 1992, after the verdict in the Rodney King case.
I think I was 9 years old.
And
It just seems so long
no,
ago.
it does seem so long ago, but I mean, it's like I'm seeing everything that's going down and the way that it's happening. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, here we go, LA replay. So, in fact, there was an article out this week where some legal experts were saying that they didn't think that the cop should have been charged. There should be no charges.
Were upset with that article.
And were they black attorneys?
Yeah,
They was black attorneys.
I think people were really in their feelings about that because they just felt like it was wait a minute.
Right.
What do you mean they shouldn't be charged? It's what everyone is hoping for and demanding right now.
And here's what I fear. I fear that Cameron has already made his mind up. They're already sitting on the decision. And they want to hold out as long as they can. I fear that they're going to be stupid enough to try to hold Derby this year. And in their arrogance, they think they're going to be able to pull it off and hold off on everything until after Derby. Because they're counting on Derby to recover a lot of the money that they lost. I got bad news for them. People are watching what's happening here. And I talk to people from all over the country on a daily basis. And they are not feeling Louisville, Kentucky this year.
So you really think it's not going to be a derby?
They'll try it.
No, Churchill Johnson's already said Derby's happening.
They'll try
Derby's
it.
happening.
It may happen, but it won't be what they want it or need it to be. It'll be a losing proposition. Trust me on that.
Because they already canceled some of the events, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
They lead up to
Kentucky
Derby.
Derby Festival. We saw the parade. Thunder of Louisville was canceled. All these things that native Louisvillians
Right.
know and love about Derby just won't be happening.
And then just the very optics of it. How are you going to hold an event like this when you've got the murder of one of your own still hanging over your head? The gall, the unmitigated gall.
This is like that, what is the fire, gentrifier, that ribbon cutting that the city tried to do?
Yeah.
It seems just it seems tone deaf, to say the least.
Oh, no, totally deaf. Tone and every other kind. They're just not hearing. They're not hearing us. And it is going to cost them. If it doesn't cost them in money, it's going to cost them politically. And
what if they do something really like something ceremonial to acknowledge what's happening in Louisville? What if they run a horse on the field with a Breonna Taylor, saddle on it? Something just to pause and say, "Hey, we see you. We know something's happening." And then it's like, back to the horse race.
no.
I think the only thing that will settle this down is the arrest. Show the people and arrest the cops. It's
Right.
simple.
Or
didn't the NFAC didn't they say, Daniel, you have 4 weeks. So when is that 4 weeks up? You remember that? I mean, I forgot to circle the date
Didn't
on
they
my
say they was
calendar.
going to come and burn down the city
they're coming back in 4 weeks.
and
But when
burn
is 4
down the
weeks up?
city?
I look at it on my calendar to see.
So 4
I'm
weeks
waiting.
from
I'm like, we'll come back.
I'm
then.
like, okay, so all right, so you're coming back in 4 weeks, and what? Here's the thing. I think if people are really paying attention, aren't you tired of performance activism by now? Aren't you tired of these symbolic gestures? Where's the real meat and potatoes of what's supposed to be going on? Where are the people in the back rooms that are that are strategizing other than how to form a formation and march 6 or 7 city blocks? Where is the plan to attack this city at its very core, at its very foundation?
There are plans, but they're like micro plans, and then like 20 people have them and are all not talking to each other.
Well, I want to
That's my
know.
sense of it.
No, and I think
It's
you're
like
right.
classic Louisville.
I want to know who's sitting at the table and
You
what
already know
they
who's
talking
sitting at the
about.
table.
No.
It's the same people.
It's the usual suspects.
But you got a protester, you got protesting, you got threats, but who's in the protesting is sitting at the table? Who is leading and who's out front sitting at the table? Didn't you have a council meeting the other day? Mm-hmm. Who was sitting at the table?
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to Barbara Sexton Smith just last week. And that is one of the places where black bodies need to be showing up. It's in those council chambers. they're the ones that are investigating the Fisher administration.
They're also investigating TARC leadership struggles.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did you see how they? It was like something out of the Spanish Inquisition. The council brought the TARC board to question them.
Mm-hmm.
They hired their own investigator, an FBI investigator.
Wow.
To investigate what's happening at TARC, and it was nearly like 2 hours long. It was better than reality TV.
And then the
I didn't have to watch hip hop. I just turned on what's
happening to the council.
Special counsel.
And so the question still remains: okay, you're doing all this, but to what end? Where's the end goal? What is the overall goal of everything that everybody's doing?
Money.
What's the next step?
People are doing power and money grabs in the most flagrantly crazy ways. Crazy ways. It's crazy.
I'm going to substitute crazy for ignorant. Not ignorant, ignorant.
Or so would even say radical.
Radical.
You going down south, bro?
Radical.
Are you ignorant?
Ignorant. Not ignorant. IG apostrophe NANT. Ignorant.
That's down south, bro. That is down south.
Skipped over a few letters.
Right. Ignorant.
So we have the protests at 6th and Jefferson.
Right.
And recently we saw those protests migrate to WLOU.
Right.
And they showed out in WLOU.
Woo!
They showed out. They shut down Market Street, right?
Yes. Shut down Market Street. That made a lot of people mad.
All the hipsters,
All
tourists.
right. It's like, what? Wait a minute. That's supposed to happen in those neighborhoods, not here. Which actually, the protesting is one of the smarter things that I've seen. Go to those disaffected areas.
They went to the Highlands.
Boom.
I even saw them out there, like near St. Matthews.
Yeah, first one lane.
There you go. That in and of itself is smart. However, and Amira,
What are you about to say?
well, one of the things that happened with the WLOU protests, they took a page from the Black Panther 10-point program playbook, but and what I mean when I say that is there was a list of demands that a lot of the merchants in the WLOU area were given.
List.
And this list has been talked about and has been publicized. And
I don't think a lot of people saw the list.
No?
No, they seen
I
it.
actually have it. I have it.
You have the list.
I have the list because it's so crazy. You have to go.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Let me see it for myself. This couldn't happen.
Can
Read
we
some of it.
go over some of the items of this list?
I have a list that looks like there's 8 demands.
Okay, 8 demands
Okay.
that these protesters had for the merchants of WLOU.
So let's just deconstruct this. We'll just go over each one.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so the first one.
Okay.
Businesses will adequately represent the black population of Louisville by having a minimum of 23% black staff, including management, and maintain commitment and accountability to increasing that number. Accountability roundtable information below. So we're going to cover the rest of it and the rest of our demands. But they want a representation of a minimum of 23% black staff in all the WLOU businesses. That was the first one.
Okay. Devil's advocate. 23% of staff in all these WLOU businesses. If you've been to WLOU, you've seen that a lot of these businesses are very specialized. Are these 23% black people that you're trying to hire qualified for these positions? Can they do the work? Or are you just looking for bodies to hold up, to take up space? I'm sorry. If I go to spend my money anywhere, there's a level of quality that I expect. And I expect the person that I'm working with to know how to do the job.
And to want to be there.
And to want to be there. So, okay. Are they going to be qualified? I didn't hear that in that particular demand.
But see, that's what I was talking about, Mark and Barrel. Some of the demands and without the leadership, some of the stuff is just ridiculous, man. And that is ridiculous.
We have more. There's more.
Oh, we have
got
more.
There's more.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
Retail locations will include a minimum of 23% inventory of Black retailers, or make a recurring monthly donation of 1.5% of net sales to Black local organizations.
Wow, man.
Why not open Black businesses in New
New
Louisville
Louisville.
to sell that stuff instead of relying on
Right,
somebody else to sell it
right.
for you?
That makes sense, don't it?
That point that's dead in the water. That doesn't make sense.
So if I'm a small business, I've just battled COVID,
Right,
shutting down my business.
right,
I just reopened,
right.
and I'm supposed to give you 1.5% of my net sales.
And the cost of my inventory has gone up.
Yeah.
I still have to pay staff
And sell your T-shirts.
to sell your T-shirts.
Who's doing this? I don't think so.
Okay, next.
Business owners will require diversity, equity, and inclusion training for their staffs to be conducted by any one of the Black women leaders on the attached list. They had a list. You must use these people. Training will be conducted thereafter on a biannual basis. So DE&I training by certain people.
Okay, I agree with diversity training.
That was not so bad.
That needs to go year round. But I'm sorry, you can't limit it to just a list. There are more. There
Just our friends.
there are some people that are more qualified than others.
It's okay as long as my friends get a check.
Right.
That's
It's
what I
like
heard.
no,
That's
that
not what was
type
there,
of
but that's
extortion.
what I heard.
Okay, yeah, I kind of heard that too without you having to say it. So
Okay. Okay. Number 4, customize your own or display one of the attached written statements in a visible location within your business to increase awareness and show support for the reparations movement. Not Black Lives Matter, but reparations specifically. That's a bold one.
I'll be like, man, if
Some of
you
these
don't
people-
get the bleep 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 out of my bleep store.
Some of these people don't even know what the reparations movement is right now. They don't even know what it is. Just saying.
Wow.
That's why people's not taking it serious.
Wow.
That's a bold one. That's a bold one.
Wow.
Next, nonprofits in the New Louisville district will submit to a voluntary external audit of their board of trustees and take necessary steps towards 23% representation on those boards.
Okay. Who's going to be conducting the audit?
Good question. I was wondering the same thing.
Who?
Whose job is that?
Whose job is that? What does the audit consist of?
I will say this: like I sit on about 3 different, boards of directors
Mm-hmm.
in Louisville, and part of when you fill out the board application, you do have to check boxes. So a lot of boards already collect this information,
Right.
and if you just ask, a lot of them will be like, "Okay, yeah, here's
Here
the
you
board
go.
representation.
Here's
Here you go."
right.
Yeah, like that's no one has to do an audit. Like you just
Right.
ask. Just saying.
Why would you audit businesses when you should be auditing the politicians that serve that area?
Get the nonprofits. And Louisville has too many nonprofits, in my opinion.
Right.
We just have a lot. So this will be like someone's full-time job. That's not it.
Okay.
It's like 3,000 nonprofits. I mean, it's going to take you a while.
Mhm.
So, okay. Business owners and nonprofit leaders will participate in quarterly roundtable discussions to be held accountable for their commitments to these demands and work together towards increased equity. Who's going to volunteer to do that?
If I'm running a business, I'm not.
Because I'm supposed to be running my business, right?
Right.
I don't have time for a roundtable.
Right. Send me an email. I'm sorry.
Text you. See your text.
Send me a text. Send me an email.
Wow.
Yeah, I got you,
Catch
dog.
me on Messenger. Right.
Yeah, I got you, dog.
Send me a Snapchat.
Right. TikTok. I don't care.
Wow.
I'm not sitting on a round table.
Not TikTok,
I don't have
not the-
time.
Not the dance with the.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
All
a
right.
savage.
No, you know that's great. Can't
Savage
TikTok.
dance, savage dance.
You know you can't TikTok. The president gonna kill that.
No. I think Microsoft, if they buy it, they'll definitely kill it.
Right, right.
Because Gen Z's going to be like, no, we're good. Next. Maintain adequate Black representation in any entertainment and performances booked at your business. So, in addition to carrying certain inventory and all these other things, you have to book Black entertainment.
All right.
Professionals
Now,
performances.
now you're in my wheelhouse.
Maintain adequate Black representation. What does that even mean?
Now you're in my wheelhouse. If I'm a promoter, and I have promoted quite a few concerts in my day, there's a lot of research that goes into picking what bands and what artists appear at your event. Okay? So one, you have to know who your target audience is. And in WLOU, it's typically not us.
Nope.
Two, you have to know what kind of budget you have. Can you afford one of the artists that appeal to the demo that you're trying to represent? Last I checked, somebody to do a promo date was like $50,000. I'm a small business owner. I don't have that in my budget.
If you're trying to get a Jack Harlow or a Bryson Tiller,
Right.
or any number of decent,
Right.
well-known acts,
Right.
it's very expensive.
It is very expensive. Okay, so
What is adequate?
what is adequate?
The next one I kind of agree with.
Okay.
Dress code policies inherently discriminate against Black folks, i.e., 4th Street Live. Remember when they launched that? Whoops. You must eliminate dress code policies that promote profiling towards patrons and employees, including hair requirements or stipulations, which can disproportionately target Black folks.
That is the first demand on the list that actually makes sense. I've got no problem with that one. None.
That one kind of makes sense.
It does make sense.
If I can go in like a hot tub time machine and go back to when they were launching 4th Street Live, I would scream from the heavens, please rethink the dress code, which doesn't appear as if it exists now.
Well,
now they're begging people to come to 4th Street Live.
Right.
And when I've been on 4th Street Live, actually, right after my wedding reception, I brought some of my husband's family to 4th Street Live. And I just remember my cousin, a security person, telling him he could not take pictures. It happened.
Okay, that moment of silence was me raising my right eyebrow.
Can we fast forward to today? 4th Street Live has taken such a beating this year. They just reopened. A lot of the restaurants are open on 4th Street Live. If you haven't been down there, they're running lots of specials. It's a really good. It's all outdoor seating. It's worth your time.
Tumbleweeds going down the street.
And they have like the cornhole games, stuff like that.
Yeah, they're holding cornhole
So I'm a little
tournaments.
biased. I like 4th Street Live.
Okay.
But that was such a mistake. And to this day, Black people in this community really have not embraced 4th Street Live because of those dress code policies. And I've had people in my family who were turned away from places, and they dress nice. They weren't necessarily dressed sloppily with those like really long T-shirts that look like dresses. And it just, I would say this is the only thing on this demands list.
That makes sense. Yeah.
There seems to be a ninth demand about board representation, but that is beyond my cropped demand list that WDRB shared.
Wow.
But yeah, this is a pretty heavy demands list.
And
it's very bold.
It's arrogant to a degree, in that at the end of the day, and I'm going to go Marcus Garvey here for a second, you're still begging somebody else for something. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of those same resources that you're talking about those businesses giving up, why not invest in yourself?
Better yet, I would say, why don't you get together with a bunch of like-minded individuals, pool some monies, pool your credit together, and you open up your own places in WLOU.
Yes.
Do it your way.
Right.
So I look at this as like a reparations in real time, like shakedown. Like, cut me a check right now, fam.
Or else.
Or else.
But or else what? That's the question. Or else what? What?
They literally sat in the street in WLOU and like shut it down. They locked arms.
Yeah,
just
they
kinda
shut it down.
Sat down. And
didn't make no sense, but they did it.
this supposed to be about getting justice for Breonna Taylor?
That's what I thought.
So this is how we started, and we're getting stuff like this.
And nowhere in that list has Breonna's name been mentioned, or the cause of police reform, or any of the other hurdles that we have to go through. This is all. That's all about a money grab.
I call that critical thinking.
But do you think they? But do you think they using that just for their own personal gain, man?
That's what it sounds like.
In a protest.
Like I said, there are people who are taking what's happening in Louisville and they're doing money grabs and power grabs for their own agenda. And it's
all
not,
these organizations.
Things like this just aren't helpful because you have people who live in Prospect or Bullitt County, Oldham County, and they're like, I'm never going downtown again. They have just said, nope. If that's what they're doing, count me out. And these are people who probably went to the Yum Center faithfully and would patronize different restaurants in Louisville. They see stuff like this, they say, nope.
And on the flip side, in those same locations, you've got other people that are down for the cause, that are out there protesting and holding up Breonna's name and the Black Lives Matter slogan. So there, it's I just think the movement has lost its way. It's splintered.
I have more. So the owners of Havana Bakery Cafe, who just opened this wonderful new Cuban restaurant in WLOU. And I'm a little biased because my husband's from Honduras and I love Cuban food. He doesn't like Mexican food.
Love Cuban food.
It's just how it is. But they, the LOU Bodeguita de Nima at 725 East Market Street, that's their new restaurant. So the protesters began to involve the owners of that restaurant in Havana Bakery Cafe and using their name, against them without their consent. And so they're like, hey, they actually posted something on their Facebook page about a day ago talking about how they're not a political organization.
Right.
And they're like, look, our people came here in pursuit of happiness. They work extremely hard and lead community efforts. They buy, spend, pay taxes, and build businesses. We believe we should be building each other up rather than tearing each other apart. So it's really interesting to see this little small business who just open up their second location. And they're getting caught up in this in a rather unfortunate way where they have to say things like, we will feed and provide service to you whether you are left, right, or everything in between. Like, that seems like, I don't know, this seems a little crazy.
I've been to Honduras. The food is great.
And the fact that, people of color are turning on people of color bothers me in the worst way. It's almost a blacker than thou type of thing that's starting to happen. And these folks, why bring a business that had nothing to do with anything that is on any other circumstance that you may not even know about? They're probably down for the cause too, because the same things that affect us affect them as well. Yeah. But you're going to turn your venom.
I feel like it affects them even more.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Again, there needs to be some sort of centralized cohesion of all of this. And we'll talk more about this right after this on Community Connections.
This is Mark Gunn Media.
This is Mark Gunn. When the Reverend Dr. William E. Summers launched WLOU some 70 years ago, the purpose was to be the people's station for Louisville's black community. That commitment has been the guiding principle for everything we've done and continue to do. WLOU stood with Black Louisville during some of the most challenging times. From the trials and tribulations of the civil rights movement, the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., to school busing, and so much more. WLOU was there.
Officer, please, I
I can't breathe.
In light of recent events, the unjustified killing of Breonna Taylor.
She was a 26-year-old EMT. In a time of COVID, she was an essential worker, the kind of person that you and I would rely on if the worst happens and we got sick.
The ongoing protests against systemic racism and police brutality.
We want justice. We want police officers to be held accountable for killing us.
Just as we did then, WLOU stands with you now as we offer our love and support to Breonna's family.
Louisville, thank you so much for saying Breonna's name. We appreciate you more than you know it. Please say her name. We will get justice for Breonna.
And continue to support the ongoing fight for freedom, justice, and equality. We say her name because Breonna Taylor's life matters.
Breonna Taylor mattered here.
Black Louisville matters. Black lives matter. We are the People Station, WLOU.
Mark Gun Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work. Back with the program.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Community Connections. To get in on the conversation, call in now. 502-776-1350. That's 502-776-1350.
Welcome back to the show, Community Connections. I'm Bruce Ray.
I'm Mark Gunn.
I'm Amira Palacios.
And we have been talking about the new list of demands, the craziness going on with the protest, and how it seems like focus has been lost. It seems to be a lot of separate agendas going on. And
it's supposed to be about saying Breonna Taylor's name,
right,
and getting justice for her,
right.
And now it just seems like say her name sometimes,
right.
But in the meantime,
do this,
cut me a check,
right. And it's and I think about John Lewis passing a couple of weeks ago, and yes,
it was nice.
Oh,
he got his own song. Mm-hmm. They basically composed and sung the Good Trouble song at the funeral. Yeah, that was amazing. And Barack Obama spoke.
Yeah,
I was hoping he was going to sing. I was wanting the Amazing Grace.
Right.
I played it for my husband. I was like, "Oh, he did the Amazing Grace. It was so great."
So they had 3 past presidents. Why the current president went now?
George is looking good.
George is looking good.
George is looking real good to me.
Yeah.
You remember when people were like, George Bush is canceled? Remember that? Remember we were all mad at him?
Right.
I'm just saying, he's come back.
And I read the book that he wrote a few years ago, and that's when I started gaining respect for him as a human being. And then the more that I see him interacting with the other presidents and basically...
Remember that hug between him and Michelle?
Oh, that was... Oh.
He became like everyone's like favorite grandpa.
Right.
It was amazing.
I'm like, this dude's not...
But then you had Bill Clinton speaking at the funeral, kind of saying, like, dude, you should not be talking about the civil rights movement. Like, stop.
I know I messed up with that 94 crime bill, and I definitely want to apologize for that, but I do thank you for being here, and
then he was listening to LL Cool J.
LL Cool J?
Yes. That was his man.
Did he need love?
Hey.
Wow.
Did his mama knock him out?
I went all the way left.
Yeah.
But it was a really beautiful funeral.
It really was.
It was, and everyone had their masks on.
Mm-hmm. And you were reminded what intelligent people sound like.
Come on, man, but you still didn't answer my question, though.
Why wasn't 45 there?
Yeah.
1, they didn't want his there. 2, he wouldn't have wanted to be there anyway because John Lewis gave that man 40 shades
of gray.
No, it was
difficulty.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
You're
difficulty. And I'm Donald John Punk Trump is just
our esteemed president.
Somebody's president is a petty, petulant child.
Pretty much.
And there's no other way to say it. For him to be there would have been just wrong on so many different levels. I don't care if he is the sitting president.
Was a good decision
yeah,
for
that
him
was
not to be here.
Yeah,
be there because I think he's had these moments before where he makes these moments about himself,
Mm-hmm.
and it just turns into a bigger PR nightmare. So I actually like the new White House press secretary. I think she's doing a good job, and things have got a lot better since she started. And this was a good call on her behalf to say, you know what, fall back, let him have his moment. Stop.
And I feel bad
save yourself.
I feel bad for her because she will not be able to get a job in the private sector once this administration is over with. So
Yeah, once she's gone, she's gone.
she's gone. She won't be able to get a job. She won't be. But it's you see one of the lions of the civil rights movement pass away, and then you had C.T. Vivian pass right around the same time. And
Both freedom riders.
Both freedom riders, both good troublemakers. And the question has to be asked, and you asked it before the show. Where are the leaders? And I don't know if we're in a generation now, and maybe it's just me.
Why do we need leaders? Because
Because
my generation is just like, you know what, we got this. We don't need a leader. It's decentralized. We're responding in real time to text messages and WhatsApp, and we show up and we do stuff. And it's a little bit more grassroots than I think people are comfortable with. And there are mistakes being made, but it's just like we're just gonna figure this out in real time and let the chips fall.
And I wish that as ruthless and aggressive as a lot of people are on social media when it comes to canceling folks, I wish that same ruthlessness and aggressiveness was there when it comes to formulating a game plan
And voting.
They
had a chance to put Charles Booker up against Mitch McConnell, and people did not show up. There were over 15,000 absentee ballots that were thrown out
because of simple mistakes.
People didn't sign it correctly or mail it in on time.
Right.
It's like we're woke to an extent. We're woke until it's time to vote and actually make change happen.
And, I don't know how many people heard that Amy McGrath was on these very airwaves earlier this morning.
I heard it.
And, the warning that I've been giving her campaign and, I've been basically a social media nuisance to her campaign is that she cannot win without the black vote. And these little bitty appearances on radio stations don't cut it. So she's got to do some sort of...
Has she actually come to Louisville or to Lexington?
No, she's been to Louisville, but she ain't been around us.
She'll show up at St. Stephen's, right? Like they do the obligatory pantry.
She'll do the Hillary and show up at St. Stephen's.
But see, the thing about it is, man, you got to leave the churches out of it, man. You just can't show up to the churches. Yeah, it's true that black people follow the pastor and do what the pastor asks. But you can't just show up at the churches, man.
So, Kev, Bruce, Eric, Malone. Mr. Malone, Pastor Malone. If you ever did the black community a solid when it comes to this election, if any of these politicians come calling trying to speak to the congregation, tell them no. And I know the church is not supposed to turn away anybody, but come on. We can't be pimped for our votes like we have been all this time. It's something different has got to happen. And if it starts with the churches saying, no, dog, we know what you're trying to do. It ain't happening here. That forces them to come face to face with us.
Yeah, you got to come face to face with the black community. Come down Shawnee Park.
Yeah.
I mean, hold a rally down at the park.
You know what that is? That is so simple, it's brilliant. It's so simple to do. Probably wouldn't cost a lot of money.
No.
But one thing you have to keep in mind, Generation Y and Z, they don't really go to church like our previous generations.
No, they don't.
So you're missing, that's another reason why we're just kind of like, you know what? We're just going to show up at 6 and Jefferson and just make it happen without all of y'all because we're tired.
Right.
And we're operating outside of these established
norms, right?
And these gatekeepers because we're not part of those groups. We're just not.
So, they have to go to where the people are, and they have to go to where the younger voting bloc is. And it's not at St. Stephen's. It's not at Canaan.
TikTok.
It's on TikTok. It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram. That's where they are.
So she ain't afraid of black people, is she?
I don't know. I mean, you would think that a colonel that served in the military, seeing kind of the worst kinds of conditions in combat, wouldn't be afraid of this.
Well, you know how they get when sometimes they get afraid of black people.
And I'm sure she served with black people.
Well,
I'm sure she did. She probably even commanded some. But come on now, you're talking about wanting to replace Mitch McConnell, and I don't know if anybody has been reading Dr. Ricky Jones as of late, but he and I are of the same mindset that, you can't win this election without talking to us.
You got to buy us lunch or something?
Does that mean that she needs to go on TikTok and do the savage dance? Is that the next move?
For her, I would go to TikTok, but I wouldn't do any kind of dancing. I'm sorry. Amy just looks like she can't do that kind of move.
A good idea.
But she needs to go to where we are. If we are on TikTok, I don't see you there. If we're at the barbershop, I'm not seeing you there. If we're at the beauty shop, I'm not seeing you there. If we are anywhere, I'm not seeing Amy McGrath there. And I'm sorry, these interviews are not going to cut it. It's like I said in a previous Facebook post. When it comes to the Democratic Party in this state, I don't mind watching the state burn because of the way they've treated black folks in the vote for so long.
I got a text message from a campaign manager, and I know they probably just throw it out there to anybody, but asked me, was I registered? And I said, of course, but wanted to know if I was Democrat or Republican. And I said, well, I'm Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Are you voting for Amy? I said, I'm Democrat.
Right.
So I can't give you the answer to that because Amy ain't showed me nothing.
Thank you.
I said, where is Amy?
And did they give you an answer?
Oh, man. They hurry up and went off my phone. Then I said, well, I know how to get rid of you now.
Mm-hmm. And
I have to say this.
Okay.
About 5 hours ago, the McGrath campaign did release a racial justice plan. She has a full plan here.
Okay.
She talks about patriotism means recognizing our country's failings and working to fix them. We all need to commit to addressing longstanding racial and economic inequities in America. In doing so will be an ongoing effort. But here are some places we should begin. She talks about closing the wealth gap, reforming our criminal justice system, investing in equal schools. That's kind of a weird term, equal schools. Protecting and expanding voting rights and creating healthcare equity. So she has this big plan. She released it on her website today.
Basically boilerplate stuff.
Every day.
Same thing that everybody else is saying.
Everyday thing.
And then it looks like she was in West Louisville. Thank you, citizens of West Louisville, for speaking with me and about how we advance racial justice by participating in our democracy. So it looks like 6 hours ago, she appears to be, it looks like a church. You called it. I see the views. Some kind of church. She released her racial. We didn't even know that she was. I didn't know about this. You guys should just.
No, right. I just thought she was on the radio.
You guys are like psychic. How'd you know?
I'm 59 years old and have been a political junkie since I was 12.
2 days ago, she has the hashtag Justice for Breonna.
Okay.
She tweeted about the John Lewis funeral.
Somebody pulled her coattail. Somebody pulled her coattail.
Hey, she's trying.
Try harder.
I'm just saying,
try harder.
She's not doing anything.
I'm just saying, try harder.
Just look at her Twitter. But how many? Young people are gonna go, okay, yeah, I see some stuff.
But that's every day.
She's on TikTok.
Yeah,
maybe that's not a good.
That's everyday stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I am just, and this is why I'm an independent. I have no real love for the Kentucky Democratic Party because of the way that they have taken the black vote for granted.
Hold on. Remember that picture of Nancy Pelosi with the kente cloth? They were all kneeling. I don't want to see Amy McGrath do that either. Let's be real. I think she's being. This appears to be authentic in some way, and she's not. She doesn't have like the kente cloth, and she's doing all that kind of stuff like Nancy Pelosi was. So I mean, give her that. I mean, just come on.
Okay, I will give her the fact that somebody pulled her coattail, and she's finally waking up to the fact that she can't win this election without us. However, as I've been saying for weeks, performative justice doesn't cut it. You know, I need to see more.
But doesn't that prove that our black vote matters? When people say, what's the use of voting?
That's what the Democratic Party, from the National Party, has been telling us since day one. The power of the black vote. The black vote is so important, blah, 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 blah. However, I'm tired of feeling like the side chick in this relationship. You come around every 4 years, you talk sweet to me, you promise me all kinds of stuff, and then when I give in, I don't see you for another 4 years. I've had it with that, which is why I left the party.
That's true.
I'm just being real.
When was the last time
You can't
saw
fight
Gerald
that.
Neal?
Actually, I saw Gerald Neal at a Super Bowl party.
Okay.
So it wasn't that long ago.
During COVID, the social
no, I haven't seen. No, I hadn't seen him.
Wait a minute. I see Gerald all the time. You know, I'm a member of the Yearlings Club.
Right.
I'm bringing up Gerald because he's our state senator for this.
Yes,
Yeah.
for this district.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm a member of the Yearlings Club, and Gerald comes to all our events, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Gerald is a social butterfly. So.
So he's
You see
around.
Charles Booker, and
Yeah, you see Charles a lot.
You know, I think we should have higher expectations of who represents us, and if we do not see them, that's a
We need
sign.
to know why.
Well, the one I haven't seen,
That's my point.
Right.
the one I haven't seen is Reginald Meeks. That's the one I haven't seen, man.
I think I have.
He's still
forgotten
around,
who
ain't
is
he?
Reginald Meeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Reg, where you at, bruh? Come on now.
No,
November will be
seriously,
here soon enough.
Remind me who he is, because it's just been so long.
You actually don't remember who Reginald
It's
Meeks
just been-
is?
it's been a
I forget
while.
what district he represents, but
Please help me.
yeah, he's still around. But yeah, we don't see him like we should.
I need to go to the Google on that.
Right. Reginald Meeks.
Wow,
M-E-E-K-S.
Wow,
So-
Mr.
We
Meeks.
should be asking questions. Where are these people?
Where are you?
What do they stand for? What are they doing to actively represent what we need in our community?
And I see John Yarmouth almost all the time.
Yeah, he's always out.
I
I feel like I see him all the time. He's always weighing in. Before you even ask him, he's like, look.
He's like, yeah. And, before he even got into politics, he and I used to go at it just from a media standpoint. So
I feel like I'll see him at like Indy's Chicken one day. Like he's just.
yeah, don't be surprised.
Yeah, don't be surprised because he's all around, man.
surprised.
He'll be there,
Yeah.
cash in hand.
Right.
Give me a two-piece.
Yeah.
He goes there all the time.
I gotta admit, John Yarmouth's the man, man. He participates.
It's really good when you see politicians that are visible.
Yes.
They make the effort because it's very, and you see that with Greg. He's physically visible. I think when
He liked the
before
photo
the-
op,
Right.
and he liked taking photos. He just
Well,
come around to take pictures.
Right now, he doesn't really have a choice. He's really under the gun here, and he's got to be seen as often as he possibly can.
What do you think about the fact that he's really put out some bold things around the reparations movement? He's like, look, we can't wait for Daniel. Let me do some things now. I think we have to give the man some credit on that.
I do, and I don't. Again, and this is just me being the political cynic.
You are a cynic.
Shiny object. Shiny object.
There you go with that shiny object.
Because I'm one of these people, and I guess for some people it's to my detriment.
Yeah.
That I am laser focused on one particular thing, and some people can't stand that about me. It's like, okay, I see that, but what about this? I see
will
that,
say
but
that.
this is the original point that we're dealing with
One
here.
last thing, because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we are running out of time.
The city of Asheville, North Carolina is the first city in the South
Mm-hmm.
to actually pass a reparations resolution, right? So they're not necessarily cutting checks to people.
Right.
But they're agreeing to make some key investments in their community. And so everyone's looking to Asheville as some type of like national model. And Greg, as the head of the U.S. Conference of
It's mayors, right.
he said, you know what? We need to take a closer look at this and do something. I think that's really interesting, and all of this is kind of coalescing into a reparations conversation?
I'm gonna wait and see. I still think it's a shiny object because, you know, I'm still saying Breonna Taylor's name and everything that goes with that: police reform, criminal justice reform, all the way going up to judgeships and everything, the county attorney and everything. I'm still laser focused on that. So, I'm from Missouri for right now. Show me.
Yeah.
First, I'll let you have the party thought for the show.
Well,
what do you want to see?
Man, I want to see a whole lot of changes. I want to see pay cuts to the police. I want to see the money going to the West Louisville. I want to see black people get their dues. I'm getting tired of everybody overlooking us and putting the money in WLOU and the other communities. Why can't you do it in our community?
There you go.
And with that, this is another Community Connection show. As always, the mic is on you.
You've been listening to Community Connections, the show designed to bring your voice to the table by engaging in discussions about those things that affect you in the city of Louisville, the issues that matter. Join us again next week at this time for Community Connections on AM 1350 WLOU.
Mark Gunn Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work.